No assistant ever lasted long with the tech CEO. Part 2, and now she has to be accepted in his world. Before we start, tell me in the comments, from which city are you watching? And at the end, don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story. Harper Ellis had a special talent, turning normal situations into cinematic disasters. Like that time she tried to make coffee and set off the company's fire alarm. Or when she decided to organize Noah's desk and accidentally donated 3 years of his notes to charity. But today was going to be different. Today she'd be elegant, sophisticated, a woman who didn't trip over rugs or confuse salt with sugar. Today was going to be perfect. Spoiler, it wasn't. It all started with a message from Noah at 11:37 a.m. Lunch at Aubergine, noon, important. Aubergine, the kind of restaurant where even the air probably came with a price tag. Harper looked at the clock, 11:52. Then at her clothes, jeans, a wrinkled blouse, and sneakers that had definitely seen better days. Perfect, she muttered, grabbing her bag. I'll look like a lost intern at a Forbes dinner. But it was Noah. And lately, seeing him came with a swarm of butterflies that seemed to live on espresso. She ran. Harper arrived at Aubergine at 12:04, sweating like she had just finished a marathon. The entrance was frosted glass, that kind of discreet design that basically screamed, if you don't know the price, you can't afford it. She pushed the door and, whump, she tripped. On the rug. A Persian rug that probably cost more than a used car. Harper stumbled forward like a baby giraffe learning to walk, arms flailing, bag flying, and crashed right into a woman standing there. A woman wearing a beige blazer so perfect it looked like it had been sewn by minimalist angels. "Oh my God," Harper shouted, grabbing the woman's arm to avoid falling. "I'm so sorry. Seriously, that rug is a trap. It needs a sign that says caution, rug hazard." The woman looked at Harper, and Harper felt like she was being scanned by some kind of emotional MRI. She was in her 50s, with silver blonde hair pulled into a bun that defied gravity, and blue eyes sharp enough to freeze water. "It's all right, dear," the woman said, smiling, though the smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Harper instantly let go of her arm, as if she had touched a hot stove. "Thank you for not suing me. I think legally this counts as involuntary handbag assault." The woman tilted her head slightly, like a cat observing a confused bird. "You seem in a hurry." "I am. Late. For a lunch. With someone. Important." Harper adjusted her bag nervously. "You know how it is, when you're trying to make a good impression and the universe decides you need more character building?" The woman smiled, just a little. "I understand perfectly." Then the host appeared, a man in a suit clearly trained never to show emotion. "Mrs. Blackwell, your table is ready." Harper froze. Blackwell, as in Noah Blackwell? Before she could process, the woman followed the host, giving a polite wave. "Good luck with your lunch, dear," and disappeared among the tables. Harper stood there, cold sweat running down her back. "No, the universe can't be that cruel," she whispered. Spoiler, it was. Noah was sitting by the window looking at his phone. When he saw Harper, he smiled, that small smile that made her stomach do cartwheels. "You made it," he said, putting his phone away. Harper slid into the chair like someone who had just escaped a shark attack. "I did. And Noah? You won't believe what just happened." He frowned, concerned. "Are you all right?" "Physically? Yes. Emotionally? Wrecked." Harper grabbed a napkin and fanned her face. "I tripped at the entrance, on the rug. Something normal people don't do. And I bumped into a woman. Hard. She was wearing a blazer worth more than my kidney. Hair like the Queen of England. Eyes that could kill with one blink." Noah went quiet. Too quiet. "Harper?" "And the worst part? The host called her Blackwell." Harper laughed nervously. "But she can't be your mother, right? Because that would be like some bad movie where everything goes wrong and—" "Harper." She stopped. Noah was looking over her shoulder with that brace for impact expression. Harper turned, slowly, very slowly, and saw her, the blazer woman, walking toward their table smiling. "Noah, darling," she said, kissing his cheek with the elegance of a queen greeting a subject. Noah stood up. "Mom? You're back. Mom." Harper felt her soul leave her body, circle the block, and decide not to return. Eleanor Blackwell looked straight at Harper, and she smiled. That smile. What a lovely coincidence. We've met before. Harper wished the floor would open up, or that the Persian rug would come alive and wrap her like a mummy. Noah looked between them, confused. You two know each other? At the entrance, Eleanor replied, sitting with the posture of someone who had never touched the back of a chair in her life. Your friend and I had quite a memorable encounter. Harper made a sound halfway between a nervous laugh and a quiet sob. Yes, hi, again, officially this time, without physical aggression. Noah closed his eyes briefly, like someone asking the universe for strength. Mom, this is Harper Ellis. Harper, my mother, Eleanor Blackwell. Eleanor extended her hand across the table. A formal pleasure, Harper. Harper shook her hand, trying not to sweat. The pleasure is mine, Mrs. Blackwell. And sorry again for that incident. I promise I usually have functional motor coordination. Of course, dear, Eleanor said, picking up the menu. We all have our moments. The word floated in the air like a polite threat. The waiter appeared, young, very serious, as if serving a state dinner at the White House. May I offer some water? Sparkling or still? Still, please, Harper said. Sparkling, Eleanor corrected softly, as if Harper had just committed a crime against etiquette. For the table. Noah touched Harper's hand under the table, kind of like, it's okay. But it wasn't okay. Harper looked at the menu and almost had a heart attack. Everything was in French. The maigre de canard here is exceptional, Eleanor commented casually. Harper looked at Noah like, translate this immediately. Duck, he whispered. Oh, duck, Harper said way too loud. I love duck, like huge duck fan, Eleanor smiled, like a teacher smiling at a student who just missed the obvious answer. And you, dear, what do you usually eat in restaurants like this? Restaurants like this, Harper heard, expensive places where you clearly don't belong. Like food? Harper replied, instantly regretting it. Silence. Noah stepped in. Harper has a very eclectic palate. I eat cold pizza for breakfast, Harper blurted because when she was nervous, inconvenient truths came out like verbal vomiting. And like instant noodles at 3 a.m. And once I ate cereal with water because we ran out of milk. Eleanor blinked. Once. Slowly. How? Interesting. Noah covered his face with his hand. Harper wanted to die. Lunch went on like an elegant torture disguised as a meal. Harper dropped her napkin. Twice. Mixed up the soup spoon with the dessert spoon. And when the waiter brought bread with 3 kinds of butter, she asked, which one is the normal one? And Eleanor almost had a small, aristocratic breakdown. But the worst was when Eleanor asked, so Harper, where did you study? San Francisco State. Graphic design. Eleanor took a sip of water. Noah studied at Stanford, then did his master's at MIT. Harper felt the hit. That's amazing, like super impressive. And you work at his company now, correct? Yes. I'm his executive assistant, and also a designer. And other things. Other things. Eleanor repeated, savoring each syllable. Like, scheduling appointments? Harper swallowed hard. Among other duties, yes, Eleanor smiled. How practical. Code for, you're replaceable. Noah placed his hand on the table firm. Harper redesigned our entire investor presentation strategy, alone, in 2 hours, and saved an $8 million pitch. Eleanor raised an eyebrow. Impressive. But her tone said, let's see if you can do that again. When Eleanor stood up to go to the restroom, freshen up, in her words, Harper sank into her chair. Noah, I blew it. You didn't. She hates me. Like full level, this girl will never touch my son. Noah held her face with both hands. She doesn't hate you, she just needs time. Time for what? To evaluate me like a job candidate? Harper. I'm not elegant, Noah. I don't speak French. I eat cereal with water. Your mom looks at me like I'm a bug in her perfect system. Noah pulled his chair closer, looking deep into her eyes. You're exactly what I want. And if she never accepts that, then she'll have to learn, he said firmly, because I chose you, and I don't change my mind. Harper felt her eyes burn. I'm just afraid of not being enough. Noah kissed her forehead. You're more than enough. Eleanor came back. Smiling. Noah, dear, don't forget, dinner on Friday, at the house. Just family. Nothing formal. Nothing formal. Code for, I'll examine you under a microscope. Eleanor touched Noah's shoulder, looked at Harper, and left. Harper whispered, Survival Manual in His World. Chapter 1. If you run into your mother-in-law before the official introduction, pray. And never ever mention cereal with water. Noah laughed, and Harper thought, maybe I'll survive this. But she didn't see it. Eleanor, outside, watching through the window, with that smile. Let's see if you can handle it, dear. Harper learned 3 things about the word casual in Eleanor Blackwell's vocabulary. 1. It was a lie. 2. A big lie. 3. It should be illegal to use that word so deceptively. Because when Eleanor said, a casual dinner, just family, Harper imagined, pizza in the living room, everyone in sweatpants, dog asleep on the couch. What she did not imagine was a mansion that looked stolen from an architecture magazine, 3 luxury cars at the entrance, and a butler, a real butler, opening the door. "Good evening, Miss Ellis," the butler said, with a British accent that sounded like a documentary narrator. Harper looked at Noah, who stood beside her holding a bottle of wine that probably cost more than her monthly rent. "Noah, you said casual." "It is casual," he replied, adjusting his tie. "You're wearing a tie." "Casual tie. There is no such thing as a casual tie," Harper whispered, pulling at the dress Priya had forced her to wear, a navy blue dress that, according to Priya, was elegant but approachable. According to Harper, it was uncomfortable and too expensive to return. Noah held her hand. "Breathe. It'll be fine. You said that before I met your mother, and I literally hit her. Technically, you tripped." The result was the same, Noah. The butler cleared his throat politely. "If you'll allow me, the guests have arrived." "Guests? Guests?" Harper froze. "What guests? You said just family." Noah gave her that face that meant I may have left out a few details. "Well, extended family, and some close family friends, and maybe 1 or 2 of my father's business partners." Harper looked at him like he'd just confessed to a federal crime. "You brought me to a corporate party disguised as dinner." "It's not a party. There's a butler, Noah." Before he could respond, Eleanor appeared in the hallway, wearing a beige dress that probably cost more than a used car. "Noah, Harper." She kissed Noah's cheek and looked at Harper with that smile. "Darling, what a charming dress." "Charming. Code for you tried." "Thank you, Mrs. Blackwell," Harper said, trying not to sweat. "Your home is wow. Like, really wow. I think I saw it on a magazine cover once." Eleanor laughed, like a crystal bell chiming. "You're so spontaneous. Come, everyone's in the living room, which was in fact the size of an Olympic gym, with a crystal chandelier that looked like it had been stolen from Versailles, and about 20 people, all dressed like they were attending the Met Gala." Harper whispered to Noah, "You'll pay for this. I'm making you watch every season of every reality show I choose." "Fair," he whispered back. A tall man with gray hair and a warm smile approached them. "So this is the famous Harper," Noah smiled, the first genuine smile of the night. "Dad, Harper, this is my father, Richard Blackwell." Richard shook Harper's hand firmly, but with the kind of warmth Eleanor clearly lacked. "It's a real pleasure, Harper. Noah can't stop talking about you." "Really?" Harper glanced at Noah, who blushed slightly. "That's funny, because he told me this dinner would be casual, and I am surrounded by people who look like they walked off the cover of Forbes." Richard laughed. A real laugh, not the polite kind rich people use. "I like her," he said to Noah. "She's got guts." Eleanor appeared beside them, holding a glass of champagne. "Harper, dear, come meet a few people." A few people equals everyone. Harper absolutely did not want to meet while sweating nervously. First stop, a middle-aged couple, both dressed like they owned a summer home in Tuscany. "Harper, these are the Ashfords. Gregory is Richard's partner." Gregory offered his hand. "Pleasure to meet you. Eleanor told us you work with Noah." "Work with, not date. Work with. Yes, I'm his executive assistant and designer and general problem solver." Gregory's wife, whose name Harper had already forgotten, smiled the way people do when watching a kindergarten play. "How interesting. And where did you study, dear?" "Here we go again. San Francisco State." "Oh." The woman exchanged a look with her husband. "How practical." There it was again. Practical. Code for "you're not one of us." Noah placed his hand protectively on Harper's back. Harper redesigned our entire investor presentation and closed an $8 million deal in 2 hours. Gregory raised his eyebrows, impressed. "That's remarkable." His wife smiled, the kind of smile you give when something smells off. "How talented." They walked away. Harper let out the breath she'd been holding. "I hate this." "I know," Noah whispered. "Sorry. You'll make it up to me with fries and ice cream after this." Deal. Dinner was an experience. The table had about 12 seats, and more silverware than Harper had seen in her entire life. She sat next to Noah, trying to remember which fork came first. "Sst," Noah whispered. "Start from the outside in. That's too much pressure for salad." Across the table, a woman in her mid-30s, with perfectly wavy hair, watched Harper with the curiosity of a scientist studying a rare specimen. "So, Harper," she said with a faint European accent, "Noah told me you two met at work. How modern." Harper tried to figure out if that was a compliment or a polite insult. "Yeah, I literally spilled coffee on his desk on my first day. The romance began with a disaster. Very poetic." The woman blinked. Noah covered his mouth, trying not to laugh. Eleanor stepped in smoothly. "Harper has a very unique sense of humor." Unique. Code for inappropriate. The first course arrived, something that looked like edible modern art. Harper looked at the plate, then at Noah. Whispered, "What is this?" "Salmon tartare with caviar and microgreens." I understood one of those 3 words. "Just eat," he whispered, fighting a smile. Harper grabbed her fork and tried to cut the tartare. Was she supposed to cut it? Or just scoop it up? She looked around. Everyone was eating with the elegance of swans in a water ballet. Harper tried to imitate them. Got the angle wrong. The thing flew off the plate and landed on Gregory's lap. Silence. Absolute silence. Gregory looked down at the salmon tartare in his lap. Harper wished the floor would open and swallow her whole. "I'm so sorry," she blurted, tossing a napkin in his direction. "Like, really sorry. I don't know what happened. The fork betrayed me." Richard burst out laughing. Noah covered his face, shoulders shaking. Eleanor closed her eyes briefly, as if asking for divine strength. "And Gregory?" He picked up the napkin, wiped his lap, and smiled. "Well," he said, "at least now we have a story to tell." Harper sank into her chair. "I'm officially never leaving the house again." The rest of dinner went less disastrously. Harper didn't spill anything else on anyone, which already felt like a win, but she could feel it. The looks, the quiet judgments, the way Gregory's wife whispered something to Eleanor, who smiled and nodded slightly. When dessert arrived, something French that melted in your mouth, Harper was exhausted. Exhausted from trying to be someone she wasn't. After dinner, Eleanor invited the women to the tea room, while the men went to the study, because apparently that was still a thing people did. Harper sat on the most comfortable couch she'd ever touched, holding a teacup that probably cost more than her phone. Eleanor sat across from her, crossing her legs with studied grace. "So, Harper," she took a sip of tea, "you and Noah are serious?" The other women stayed quiet, like an audience waiting for the climax of a soap opera. Harper swallowed hard. "Yes. I see." Eleanor set the cup down. "You know, Noah has always been selective about everything. Work, friendships, relationships." Harper didn't know where this was going, but it didn't feel like a good place. "He's amazing," Harper said firmly. "Yes, he is." Eleanor smiled. "And he deserves someone who understands his world, the expectations, the responsibilities." Ah, there it was, the polite jab. Harper took a deep breath. "Mrs. Blackwell, I know I don't come from the same background as Noah. I know I spilled food on your business partner and probably used the wrong fork 5 times, but I love your son, truly, and I'll learn, whatever it takes." Eleanor studied her, like an emotional scanner. "We'll see, dear." When Noah and Harper finally left, it was past midnight. In the car, Harper slumped into her seat. "I survived. You were amazing," Noah said. "I threw food on Gregory. He thought it was funny. Your mother hates me." Noah took her hand. "She just needs to know you better." Harper looked out the window at the city lights. "What if I'm never good enough?" Noah stopped the car, turned to her. "You already are." Harper felt her eyes sting, and Noah kissed her, right there in the car, like a silent promise, but neither of them saw it. The black car parked 2 spaces behind, with Clare Montgomery in the back seat. Watching, smiling, typing a message. "Eleanor, we need to talk about your son's future." Harper had survived 3 crisis meetings, 2 impossible deadlines, and that one time the entire company system crashed during a live presentation. But nothing, absolutely nothing prepared her for the message she got that Thursday morning. "Harper, dear, how about some tea this afternoon? Just the 2 of us, Eleanor." Harper stared at her phone like it was announcing the end of the world. "Priya," she shouted from across the office. "Priya! Level 10 emergency." Priya came running, holding a cup of coffee like a shield. "What happened? Did Noah break up with you? Or did someone find out about that time you sent the wrong email to a client?" "Worse." Harper showed her the phone. "My mother-in-law invited me for tea. Just us 2. Priya read the message. "Read it again." "Like, actual tea?" Or tea that's really a disguised interrogation? Exactly. Marcus appeared, chewing a bagel. What's going on? Eleanor invited Harper for tea. Priya explained, dead serious. Marcus stopped chewing. Like that formal British kind where they judge you by how you hold the cup? I don't even know how to hold a teacup, Harper practically yelled. I drink coffee from a mug with a cat on it. Okay, calm down, Priya said, placing her hands on Harper's shoulders. Breathe. Let's think strategically. Strategy is fake my death and never leave the house again. Or, Marcus suggested, you could just go be yourself and win her over with your natural charm. Harper looked at him like he'd just suggested skydiving without a parachute. Marcus, I spilled food on her business partner at a formal dinner. My natural charm is code for walking disaster. But Noah loves you because of that, Priya said gently. Noah isn't his mother. Silence, because that was an absolute fact. Harper arrived at the Blackwell house at 3 in the afternoon, wearing what Priya had called casually elegant and Harper had called costume of a sophisticated person. The butler, who Harper learned was named James, opened the door. Good afternoon, Miss Ellis. Mrs. Blackwell is expecting you in the winter garden. Winter garden. Of course they had a winter garden. Harper followed James through hallways that looked like a museum until they reached a glass room full of plants that probably cost more than a car. Eleanor sat in a white wicker chair, the table set with a tea service that looked like it had been inherited from British royalty. Harper, she smiled, waving. So punctual. Please, sit down, dear. Harper sat opposite her, trying not to look like she was about to have a nervous breakdown. Thank you for inviting me, Mrs. Blackwell. Eleanor, please. She poured tea into a delicate cup. Sugar? Milk? Harper looked at the cup, then at the sugar, then at the milk. I don't know, she admitted. I usually drink coffee with lots of sugar and oat milk, but tea, that's new territory for me. Eleanor blinked, then smiled like she just discovered an intriguing zoo exhibit. How refreshing. Let's try a little honey then. She added honey to Harper's cup and handed it over. Harper held the cup by the handle, which was tiny and hot. Ow! She almost dropped it, then held it with both hands like a child holding a juice cup. Eleanor took a sip of her own tea, observing. So, Harper, tell me about yourself. Your family, where you come from. Oh no, the conversation. Harper took a sip of tea, scalding hot, and nearly spat it out but swallowed, because spitting in front of her mother-in-law seemed worse than burning her tongue. I'm from Oakland. Small family, just me and my mom. She's a nurse, works double shifts most of the time. How noble, Eleanor said, and Harper couldn't tell if it was sincere or condescending. It must have been difficult. It was, but my mom's kind of a superhero. She paid for my college working 3 jobs. I owe her everything. Eleanor placed her cup on the table. And your father? Harper felt her stomach tighten. He left when I was 6. We don't have contact. I see. Eleanor picked up a cookie, one that probably had a French name. So you grew up without many resources. Resources. Code for you were poor. I grew up with enough, Harper said firmly, and with a lot of love. Eleanor smiled, like a teacher smiling at a student who gave a sweet but wrong answer. Of course, dear. Love is important, she paused. But the world Noah lives in requires more than love. It requires preparation, etiquette, an understanding of how to move through a complex society. Harper felt the sting. I know I don't come from Noah's world, she said, her voice steady. I know I make mistakes, lots of them. But I love your son. Truly. And I'll learn whatever it takes. Eleanor tilted her head, studying Harper as if she were assessing a high-risk investment. Do you really believe that? Yes. Even knowing the media will judge you, that people in his social circle will question you, that you'll be under constant scrutiny? Harper swallowed hard. Even then. Eleanor picked up her cup again. You know, Harper, I wasn't born into this world either. Harper froze. What? I grew up in a middle-class family. My father was an accountant, my mother a teacher. Eleanor looked toward the garden, her gaze distant. When I met Richard, he was already heir to an empire, and his family didn't accept me. Not at first. Harper felt the air shift. How did you deal with that? Eleanor looked back at her. I learned. I studied. I turned myself into the person they needed me to be. She paused, and I lost parts of myself in the process. Silence. Harper didn't know what to say. I don't want that for my son, Eleanor continued, her voice softer now. I don't want him to choose someone who has to change, who has to lose herself. I won't lose myself, Harper said firmly. I'll grow, I'll learn, but I won't stop being who I am. Eleanor studied her for a long moment, then she smiled, small but genuine. You have courage, Harper. I'll admit that. Thank you? Eleanor laughed, a real laugh this time. Noah chose well, even if, in a rather unconventional way. Harper felt something warm in her chest. Hope. So you approve? Eleanor took another cookie. I didn't say that, but her tone was lighter. I'm willing to watch, and maybe be surprised. Harper smiled. I can do that. Surprise people. It's kind of my specialty, usually in disastrous ways, but still. Eleanor shook her head, smiling. You truly are one of a kind, Harper Ellis. As Harper was leaving, Eleanor called out, Harper? She turned. Yes. Dinner was memorable, especially the part with the flying tartare. Harper blushed. I'm so sorry. Don't be. Eleanor smiled, a genuine one. It's been a long time since I saw Richard laugh like that. Harper smiled back, and for the first time she felt that maybe, just maybe, she could belong in that world. But on the other side of the city, in a minimalist office overlooking the bay, Clare Montgomery closed her laptop. On the screen, photos of Harper. From the dinner, from the tea. She dialed a number. We need to move faster, she said in a cold voice. Eleanor is softening, and that cannot happen. Harper was having an existential meltdown in the office bathroom when Priya burst through the door like an FBI agent in a rescue mission. Okay, stop, Priya said, snatching Harper's phone. You've been watching etiquette videos on YouTube for 40 minutes. I need to know how to hold a wine glass without looking like an elephant holding a banana. Harper shouted, trying to grab the phone back. Marcus appeared in the doorway, munching on chips. What did I miss? Harper's having a pre-mother-in-law crisis, Priya explained. Oh, makes sense. Marcus held out the bag. Want some? I can't eat chips, Harper almost cried. Elegant people don't eat chips. They eat caviar and French things I can't pronounce. Priya and Marcus exchanged looks. Okay, Priya said, taking Harper by the shoulders. Breathe. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eleanor hates me. 6, 7. That's not how it works. Marcus closed the bathroom door. All right, let's look at this differently. Do you really think Noah cares whether you know the difference between a salad fork and a dessert fork? It's not about Noah, Harper cried. It's about me, not wanting to be the girlfriend who embarrasses him at every social event for the rest of his life. Silence. Priya sighed. You don't embarrass him, Harper. I spilled food on his family's business partner. And the guy laughed, Marcus said. Like, actually laughed. You're memorable. That's a good thing. Memorable like how sweet, or memorable like what a disaster? Yes. Harper covered her face with her hands. I can't do this. Priya gently pulled her hands down. You literally saved an $8 million presentation in 2 hours. You organized a 300-person event with 1 day's notice. You fix every impossible problem that shows up. You can do this. Harper felt her eyes sting. But what if I'm just not enough? No matter how hard I try. Marcus sat on the bathroom floor. It looked like a group therapy session now. Okay, truth time. Noah chose you, not a socialite, not someone born knowing which spoon to use. You, the girl who eats cold pizza for breakfast and cries at reality shows. That's way too specific to be motivational. But it's true, Priya insisted. And you know why? Because you're real, you're funny, you're kind, you're you. Harper let out a slow breath. You're terrible at pep talks, but I love you anyway. Great, Priya said, pulling her up. Now let's do a quick etiquette training, just the basics, so you don't have a nervous breakdown at the next dinner. Like a class? More like a mission impossible, Marcus corrected. But we believe in you. 20 minutes later, they were in the office break room using plastic cups, paper napkins, and Marcus recording everything on his phone. Is this really necessary? Harper asked. Absolutely, Marcus replied. This will be gold at your wedding. We're not even engaged yet, Priya repeated, setting a cup in front of Harper. Okay, lesson 1, wine glass. You hold it by the stem, not the bowl. Harper grabbed the plastic cup by the bottom. Like this? Perfect. Now pretend you're sipping wine elegantly. Harper raised the cup to her lips, trying to look sophisticated. The cup bent. Water spilled down her chin. Marcus burst out laughing. This isn't funny, Harper shouted, wiping her face. Shh, it's a little funny, Priya admitted, trying not to laugh. Okay, next lesson, Marcus said, still laughing. Posture. You need to sit with a book on your head. Why did people even do that? Like, who woke up one day and said, you know what would be great? Balancing a book on my head. Boring people, Marcus replied. But it works. Try it. Priya placed a notebook on Harper's head. It fell. Immediately. Okay, this takes practice, Priya said. I don't have time for practice. Harper whined. The next event is next week. Then we practice now. Marcus said, picking up the notebook. Go again. Harper balanced the notebook. Took one step. It fell. Again. Balanced. 2 steps. Fell. Balanced. 3 steps. It fell and hit Priya's cup, spilling water across the table. They stared at the mess. I give up, Harper announced. Don't give up, Priya and Marcus shouted together. At the break room door, Noah stopped watching the scene. Harper with a wet napkin on her head, Priya holding a broken cup, Marcus filming everything. Should I even ask? The 3 of them froze like kids caught doing something wrong. Etiquette training, Harper shouted, throwing the napkin away. Because apparently I need to learn how to be a functional human in society. Noah walked in and took her hand. Harper, you don't need to change. But I spilled food on. I know, and my dad hasn't stopped talking about it. He thought it was hilarious. Hilarious like funny, or hilarious like tragic. Like he asked for you to be at the next dinner because you make everything more interesting. Harper blinked. Really? Really? Noah smiled, that smile that made her stomach flip. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be you. Harper felt her eyes sting. And what if me isn't enough for your mom? Noah pulled her closer. Then she'll have to get used to it, because I'm not going anywhere without you. Priya pretended to wipe a tear. That was so sweet I might cry. I'm already crying. Marcus sobbed, still recording. Harper laughed through tears and Noah kissed her right there in the messy break room, while Priya and Marcus clapped like a sitcom audience. That night, Noah stopped in front of a small, quiet jewelry store downtown. He looked at the window display, then at his phone, at a photo of Harper laughing with a wet napkin on her head, and he went inside. Across the street, in a cafe, Clare Montgomery was watching. She took a photo of Noah entering the jewelry store and sent it to a contact saved only as EB, with a message, I think we need to talk. Urgent. Harper was having the best day of the week. No spilled coffee, the printer worked on the first try, and Noah had texted, thinking of you, with a heart emoji, when Marcus burst into her office like a detective at a crime scene. Harper. Code red. She looked up, still smiling. If this is about the printer again, I swear, it's not the printer. Marcus dropped his tablet on her desk. It's you. On the screen, a corporate gossip blog article. Headline in bold letters, Who is Harper Ellis, the mysterious new girlfriend of San Francisco's most eligible CEO? Harper felt her stomach drop like an elevator with a cut cable. What? When did this happen? Posted 20 minutes ago, Marcus replied, already scrolling. And Harper? There's a photo. What photo? Marcus turned the tablet. It was her, leaving the restaurant with Noah. The picture was a little blurry, but clear enough. She was laughing, Noah holding her hand, the 2 of them looking like a celebrity magazine cover. I'm going to have a breakdown, Harper announced, standing up. Like, right now. Immediately. Somebody call Noah, or the police, or NASA. I don't know, someone needs to fix this. Priya came running in, holding her phone. Did you see it? I saw it. Harper shouted. Who did this? Like, who wakes up and decides, today I'm going to ruin some random person's life? Calm down, Priya said, grabbing the tablet. Let's read the article first. I do not want to read it. It's going to be like, she's not good enough, and where did this girl come from? And Harper, Marcus interrupted, serious. Read it. She took a deep breath, took the tablet, and read. Harper Ellis, 28, is the new companion of tech billionaire CEO Noah Blackwell. Sources close to the couple reveal that Ellis works as an executive assistant at Blackwell's company, raising questions about the nature of the relationship. While some praise the unlikely couple, others question whether Ellis is prepared for the high society world that comes with the Blackwell name. Harper stopped reading. Unlikely couple? She repeated, her voice climbing 3 octaves. Unlikely? Like, are we some odd food pairing nobody ordered? Keep going. Priya urged. Ellis, with a degree in graphic design from San Francisco State University, comes from humble origins. Her mother works as a nurse in Oakland. The Blackwell family, known for their social rigor and business tradition, has not yet commented publicly on the relationship. Did they investigate my mother? Harper almost screamed. Like, did they go and investigate my whole life? That's an invasion of privacy, Marcus said, already typing on his phone. That has to be illegal. It's not, Priya replied grave. Unfortunately, when you date a public figure, this happens. Harper sank into the chair. I did not sign up for this. Like, where is the form that says, warning, dating this guy will expose your entire life? Hidden clause. Marcus tried to joke. Harper did not laugh. She scrolled to the end of the article and froze. There was a photo, small, in the lower corner. A woman drinking coffee at a fancy cafe. Perfect hair, expensive clothes, a small, calculated smile. Caption, Clare Montgomery, former Blackwell partner, at a downtown SF cafe yesterday. Who is Clare Montgomery? Harper asked, showing the photo. Priya and Marcus exchanged looks. You don't know, asked, cautious. Should I? Marcus sat on the edge of the table. Clare Montgomery was like Noah's protege. They worked together for years. She left the company about 6 months ago. It was messy. Harper felt something cold run down her spine. Messy how? Like, she wanted to be more than a partner, Priya explained, carefully. And Noah made it clear that would not happen. So she left, started a competing company. Harper looked at the photo again. Claire was smiling, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who was planning something. Do you think she, Harper began, planted the story? Marcus finished, like 100%. But why? Harper asked, feeling panic rise. Like, what does she gain from this? Priya took the tablet, looking at Claire's photo. Chaos, she answered, plain. She wants to create chaos, pressure, make you doubt yourself, make Noah's family question you, plant a seed of doubt. Harper felt nauseous. It's working. At that moment, Noah entered the room like an elegant hurricane. Harper, did you see? I saw it. She stood up, showing the tablet. Everyone saw it. Like probably my mother already saw it. And now she's going to call me asking why I didn't tell her I'm dating a billionaire, and Noah took her hands. Breathe. I can't breathe, Harper whimpered. They called us an unlikely couple, like we're a social experiment that failed. Harper, Noah said, firm but kind. Look at me. She looked. His eyes were calm, steady, like an anchor in the middle of a storm. It doesn't matter, he said. How doesn't it matter? It's on the internet, and it will stay on the internet. And they'll write more, and people will talk. Noah pulled her closer. But none of that changes how I feel about you. Harper felt her eyes sting. But what if your family reads this and decides I really am not good enough? Then they are wrong, Noah said simply. And I will spend the rest of my life proving them wrong. Priya pretended to wipe a tear. That was so sweet. I need to leave before I actually cry. Marcus was already crying. You two are like a Hallmark movie, but in realistic mode, he sobbed. Noah ignored them both, focused on Harper. I will fix this. I'll talk to our legal team. We'll trace the source. And if it's who I think it is, Claire, Harper whispered. Noah did not deny it. She will regret it. That night, Harper was in her apartment, eating ice cream straight from the container and watching a reality show to turn off her brain, when her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered cautiously. Hello? Harper Ellis. A woman's voice. Smooth, elegant. My name is Clare Montgomery. Harper almost dropped the ice cream. How did you get my number? That doesn't matter. Claire laughed softly. I just wanted to give you some advice. Woman to woman. I don't need advice from someone who plants gossip stories about me. Ah, so you're clever. Claire paused. Good. Then you'll understand when I say, leave while you still can. Harper felt anger rise like lava. Excuse me? Noah's world isn't for everyone. You'll be judged, criticized, picked apart. Every mistake will be magnified, every flaw exposed. Claire sighed as if doing her a favor. I went through that. I know. And I came from a prepared family. You came from Oakland. Harper gripped the phone tightly. So what? So you'll never truly be accepted. Not really. They'll smile, be polite, but behind your back, they'll see you as unfit. You don't know me, Harper said, her voice trembling with anger. I don't need to, Claire replied coolly. I know them. And I know how this story ends, with you broken, and Noah going back to someone at his level. And she hung up. Harper sat there, phone in hand, shaking. Part of her wanted to cry. Part of her wanted to throw the phone at the wall. But most of her was furious. She dialed Noah's number. He answered on the first ring. Harper, are you okay? Claire called me, she said firmly. And you know what I realized? What? She's scared. Silence on the other end. Scared? Noah repeated. Yes, because if I weren't a threat, she wouldn't waste time trying to scare me. Harper smiled, small but real. So I'm going to do the opposite of what she wants. I'm staying. And I'll prove her wrong. Noah laughed, the kind of proud laugh that warmed her. I love you. Harper froze. They had never said that before. You what? I love you. Noah repeated, steady. And I was going to wait for the perfect moment to say it, but there's no such thing. So I'm saying it now. I love you, Harper Ellis. Tears rolled down Harper's face. I love you too, she whispered. Across the city, Claire turned off the recorder that had captured the entire call and smiled. Phase 2. Activated. Harper was in the middle of an existential crisis involving 3 different pairs of shoes when Noah texted, Wear something comfortable. I'll pick you up at 7. Trust me. She stared at the message like she was decoding alien language. Priya, she shouted over the phone. What does wear something comfortable mean in billionaire language? Could be anything from sweatpants to $1,000 dress. Priya replied, ever so helpful. Context? He didn't give context. He just said, trust me. Okay, that's either adorable or terrifying, still deciding. Harper looked at her closet like she was facing a final boss in a video game. I'm going with jeans. If he doesn't like it, that's his problem. Bold choice. I approve. Because Harper could never be on time even when she tried. She went downstairs and saw Noah leaning against his car, holding a small bouquet of wildflowers. Not expensive roses, not some fancy arrangement, wildflowers. The kind that grow by the roadside, beautiful, but no one ever buys them. Harper felt something melt in her chest. You brought flowers, she said, taking the bouquet. You once said expensive flowers felt too arranged. Noah smiled, that small smile that made her stomach flip. So I brought messy ones. I love them. Harper whispered, smelling the flowers. Really love them. Where are we going? Surprise. I hate surprises. I know. Noah opened the car door. But you'll like this one. 20 minutes later, the car stopped in front of a downtown building Harper didn't recognize. Noah, where are we? You'll see. He led her to the elevator, pressed the button for the top floor, and Harper felt her stomach tighten like she was about to give a presentation she hadn't prepared for. If you brought me to some surprise event full of fancy people, I swear. There's no one, Noah interrupted, holding her hand. Just us. Just us. The elevator doors opened, and Harper forgot how to breathe. It was a rooftop, but not the fancy kind of the DJ and stylish people taking pictures. It was simple. Fairy lights strung between potted plants, a small table with 2 chairs, candles, and the view, that view of the whole city glowing like a constellation on Earth. Noah, Harper whispered, stepping out slowly like she was walking into a dream. You did this? With help. He pulled out a chair for her. Marcus picked the playlist. Priya approved the menu. But the idea was mine. Harper sat down, still processing. There's a playlist? Noah tapped something on his phone, and soft music began to play. The kind of indie music you hear in cafes that makes you feel like you're in a movie. You remember everything I say, don't you? Harper asked, looking at the flowers on the table. Everything that matters. A waiter appeared, young, smiling, none of that judgmental vibe from fancy restaurants, and served an appetizer that looked like real food, not edible modern art. Is this gourmet mac and cheese? Harper asked, surprised. You said it was your favorite comfort food. Noah smiled. So I asked them to make a fancy version. Harper felt her eyes sting. You're like, annoyingly perfect. It's unfair. I have flaws. Name one. Noah thought. I leave socks on the floor. That's not even a real flaw. He laughed, and Harper thought she could listen to that laugh for the rest of her life and never get tired of it. They ate, talked, laughed about silly things like how Harper once thought quinoa was the name of a cartoon character until she was 20. How was I supposed to know? She defended, laughing. Nobody in my family ate quinoa. We ate rice, normal rice, the kind that doesn't need an instruction manual. Quinoa doesn't need a manual. Yes, it does. You have to wash it like 8 times or it tastes bitter. Noah shook his head, smiling. She was the most adorable thing in the universe. And then, after dessert, a brownie with ice cream because Noah knew Harper thought French desserts are too delicate. He stood up. Come on, he said, reaching for her hand. Harper followed, confused, to the edge of the rooftop, where the city lights blinked like secret Morse code. Okay, she said, nervous because Noah was way too quiet. You're scaring me. Like, if you brought me here to tell me you're a vampire or something, I need a warning first. Noah laughed, but it was a nervous laugh. He was nervous. Noah. Nervous. He began, his voice shaking. I'm not good with words. You're the CEO of a tech company. You give talks to like 1,000 people. That's different. He took her hands. Because with you, everything's different. Harper felt her heart racing like she was running a marathon. Noah, before you, he continued, looking deeply into her eyes, my life was functional, organized, predictable, and I thought that was enough. He smiled softly. And then you showed up, spilling coffee, tripping on carpets, cracking jokes in serious meetings, and suddenly, everything had color. Harper felt a tear fall. You're making me cry, and I don't even know why yet. Noah laughed, brushing her tear away with his thumb. You make me want to be better, more human, less robotic. He took a breath. And I know my world is complicated. There's pressure, judgment, and people like Clare who'll try to tear us apart, but I don't care. Because you're the best thing that ever happened to me. And then, he knelt down. He actually knelt. Harper stopped breathing. Noah, she half shouted. Are you? He pulled a small box from his pocket, dark blue velvet, opened it, and inside was a ring. Simple, delicate, a small stone that sparkled like a captured star. Harper Ellis, Noah said, voice trembling but steady. Will you marry me? Harper covered her mouth, tears falling like a waterfall. Are you serious? She whispered. Complete, like, actually marry? With a veil and cake and everything. Noah smiled, eyes shining. If you want it. Harper sobbed, a real, happy sob. This is like the most important moment of my life and I'm crying like a baby. Is that a yes? It's a very obvious yes. Harper shouted, pulling him up. Like, yes, 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 yes. Noah kissed her. Right there, on the rooftop, with the whole city as witness. And when he slipped the ring onto her finger, Harper looked at it and felt like she was wearing a piece of a star. I almost dropped it, she admitted, laughing and crying at the same time. I know. That's why I held your hand tighter. You know me so well it's scary. And you still said yes. I'm insane. Clearly. Noah pulled her closer, resting his forehead against hers. Crazy about me. Hopelessly. They stayed there, wrapped in each other's arms, until the city began to fall asleep. And Harper thought, this is real. This is really happening. But 3 blocks away in a black car, Clare ended the Zoom recording. She had everything. Every moment. Every word. And she smiled. Perfect. Now the fun part begins. Harper woke up the next morning thinking it had all been a dream, until she looked at her left hand and saw the ring shining like a beacon on her finger. She screamed. She really screamed. So loud that the neighbor banged on the wall shouting, Are you okay in there, or are you being attacked by a raccoon? Sorry, Mrs. Chen. Harper shouted back. I'm just engaged. Congratulations. Now let me sleep. Harper grabbed her phone, took 12 photos of the ring from every possible angle, and sent them to the Chas team group chat with Priya and Marcus. 3 seconds later, her phone exploded with calls. Priya answered first, literally screaming, You're engaged? Like, actually engaged? With a ring and everything? Yes, Harper shouted back, because apparently yelling was now the only way they could communicate. I'm going to cry, Priya sobbed. I'm already crying. Look, there's a tear on my screen. Marcus joined the call, out of breath. I ran 3 blocks when I saw the photo. 3. I don't even run for the bus. You two are ridiculous, Harper said, laughing and crying at the same time. I love you both. We need to celebrate, Priya announced. Right now, breakfast, pancakes, champagne for breakfast. It's 7 in the morning, Harper pointed out. So what? You're engaged. Normal rules don't apply. 40 minutes later, the 3 of them were sitting in a diner, Harper eating pancakes while Priya and Marcus examined the ring like gemologists inspecting a stolen diamond. It's perfect, Priya whispered, turning Harper's hand so the light hit differently. Delicate but striking, elegant but not flashy. Did he pick it out himself? I think so, Harper said with her mouth full of pancake. He never mentioned a jewelry consultant. Because he knows you, Marcus practically shouted, making 3 people turn around. Sorry, he said to them. My friend's engaged and I'm very emotional. An elderly woman 2 tables away smiled. Congratulations, dear. Is he a good man? The best, Harper said, smiling like someone hopelessly in love. Then hold on to him. The good ones are rare. Harper felt her eyes fill again. I'm going to cry again, she announced. Don't cry, Priya said, handing her a napkin. You'll ruin your makeup. I'm not wearing any. Exactly. That's why you can't cry. You need to look perfect when you tell Noah you woke up screaming like you were attacked by a wild animal. Harper threw a piece of pancake at her. By 9 a.m., Harper was at the office, trying to focus on work, but failing miserably because every few minutes she looked at the ring and smiled like someone possessed by pure happiness. You're scaring people, Marcus whispered as he passed her desk. I can't stop smiling. I know. You look like one of those toothy dentist commercials. Rude. Noah appeared at her door holding 2 cups of coffee. Good morning, fiancé. Harper melted like ice cream on a summer sidewalk. Good morning, fiancé. She took the coffee. This is real, right? You actually proposed yesterday and I didn't dream at all? Noah leaned in and kissed her forehead. Very real. And I have a video to prove it. You recorded it? Marcus did, secretly. He sent it to me at 6 a.m. with the caption, You owe me forever. Harper laughed, resting her head on his shoulder. We need to tell your dad and your mom. Noah tensed a little, just enough for her to notice. My dad will be thrilled, he said carefully. My mom. We'll need time. Harper finished. I know. She'll come around, Noah said firmly. Because she loves me, and I love you, and eventually she'll see what I see. And if she doesn't? Noah cupped her face in his hands. Then she'll miss out on the best daughter-in-law in the universe. Harper kissed him. Right there in the office, where anyone could see. And when they finally pulled apart, 3 people were standing at the door clapping. You two are so cute, an intern shouted. Thanks, Harper replied, blushing. By 2 in the afternoon, Noah took Harper to his parents' house. The butler opened the door as usual, but this time, he smiled, a genuine smile. Congratulations, Miss Ellis, he said softly. Thank you, James, Harper whispered back, surprised. Richard was in the living room reading the newspaper, and when he saw them, he immediately stood up. Noah, Harper. He hugged Noah, then pulled Harper into such a warm hug she almost cried. Welcome to the family, dear. Harper felt something warm rise in her chest. Thank you, Mr. Blackwell. Richard, he corrected with a smile. You're going to be my daughter-in-law. No need for formalities. Eleanor entered the room just then and looked at Harper, then at the ring on her hand, and smiled. But it was that smile, the kind that doesn't reach the eyes. So it's true, she said, her voice smooth like silk hiding a blade. You're engaged? Yes, Noah replied, holding Harper's hand. I proposed yesterday. She said yes. That was fast, Eleanor remarked, picking up the glass of wine from the side table. How long have you two been together? 4 months? 5, Harper corrected, trying to keep her voice steady. 5. Of course, Eleanor took a sip. And you're sure, Noah, that this is what you want? Richard frowned. I just want to be certain, she interrupted, looking at Harper as if she were evaluating a risky investment. Marriage is a serious commitment, especially considering Noah's position. The position. Code 4. You're not on our level. Harper felt anger rising like lava, but she took a deep breath. I love your son, Mrs. Blackwell, truly, and I know I don't come from your world. I know I'll make mistakes, probably a lot. She looked Eleanor straight in the eyes. But I'll learn, and I'll make your son happy, because he makes me happy, and that's what matters. Silence. Eleanor studied Harper for a long moment, then she set her glass down and extended her hand. Welcome to the family, Harper. It wasn't warm, it wasn't enthusiastic, but it was something. Harper shook her hand. Thank you. Richard broke the tension by pulling out a bottle of champagne he had apparently hidden behind the armchair. Let's make a toast. He poured 4 glasses. To my son and the brave woman who can actually handle him. Dad, Noah protested, but he was smiling. To Harper and Noah. Richard raised his glass. May you be as happy as Eleanor and I. Eleanor raised her glass, but said nothing. As they were leaving, Eleanor touched Harper's arm. May I speak with you? Just a minute? Noah looked at Harper like, do you want me to stay? But she shook her head. It's okay. He left with his father, and Harper stayed alone with Eleanor in the hall. Do you truly love my son? Eleanor asked directly. Yes. Even knowing it will be difficult, that people will judge you, that you'll be under constant pressure? Yes, Harper repeated firmly. Because he's worth it. Eleanor studied her, then, for the first time, smiled. A small but genuine smile. You have courage, Harper. More than I had at your age. She gently touched Harper's arm. Take care of him, and let him take care of you. Harper felt her eyes sting. I will. Eleanor nodded and went back to the living room, leaving Harper standing in the hall, trying to process what had just happened. Priya was going to freak out when she heard about this. But 3 blocks away, Claire slammed her laptop shut. She had just seen the photos. Harper and Noah leaving the Blackwell house, smiling, holding hands, Eleanor in the window, watching. Claire dialed a number. We need to meet. Now. On the other end, a woman's voice replied, Where? Claire smiled. It's time to show Harper Ellis what it really means to live in this world. Harper was having a perfectly normal day. No spilled coffee, the printer behaved, and she had managed to wear her engagement ring for 3 full hours without hitting anything. When Priya burst into her office like a reporter announcing the end of the world. Harper, orange alert. Harper looked up, still typing an email. Is orange good or bad? We never actually agreed on a color system. Bad. Priya threw her phone on the desk. Like, you'll want to move to Antarctica and live as a hermit. Bad. On the screen, a business news headline. Love or strategy? CEO Noah Blackwell announces engagement to employee. Harper felt her stomach drop like an elevator with a snapped cable. Employee? She repeated, her voice rising. Employee? Like I'm just a corporate accessory? Keep reading, Priya said, her tone serious. Harper scrolled, and every word hit like a punch to the gut. Sources close to the couple question the timing of the relationship between Blackwell and his assistant, Harper Ellis. While some see a genuine romance, others speculate about a possible image strategy following recent tensions with former partner Clare Montgomery. Ellis, who comes from a modest background and has a less traditional education, represents a notable change in Blackwell's usual romantic pattern. Modest background? Harper read aloud, anger boiling. Less traditional education? They're basically calling me poor and stupid. That's not exactly what it says. Priya tried. It's exactly what it says. Just dressed up in fancy words so it doesn't sound like prejudice. Marcus ran in, holding his tablet like a live grenade. Did you see it? We saw it. Harper and Priya yelled together. Okay, but did you see this? Marcus turned the tablet around. It was a video from a morning gossip show. 2 perfectly made-up hosts speaking as if they were discussing a major scientific breakthrough. Host 1. So Sarah, what do you think? True love or a strategic move? Look, I think it's beautiful when love crosses social barriers, but let's be honest, 5 months? And she works for him? The red flags are doing the conga. Something broke inside Harper. It wasn't sadness, it was anger. The kind of anger that's Hulk level, but with sharp words instead of punches. Turn it off, she said, voice dangerously calm. Harper, Priya began. Turn it off. Marcus turned off the TV. Silence. Harper took a deep breath. The kind of yoga breathing she once saw in a video but never tried, because who has time for that? Okay, she said, standing up. Where's Noah? Meeting with the legal department, Marcus said. He's furious, like I've never seen him like that. He almost broke his mouse. Noah almost broke something? Harper asked, shocked. Noah, I inhale calm and exhale zen, Blackwell. Apparently, messing with you takes away his zen, Priya said with a small smile. It's kind of sweet, actually. It's not sweet, Harper nearly shouted. It's, she stopped because it actually was a little sweet. Okay, maybe a bit, but that doesn't fix the problem. The problem is Clare is clearly behind this, Marcus said, sitting on the edge of the table. Like 100%. Those close sources? That's her. Planting doubt, building a narrative. Harper looked out the window, the city below her buzzing like an anthill full of people probably reading that article at that exact moment. They really think I'm with Noah for money? She whispered. Who cares? Priya said firmly. You know the truth. Noah knows. We know. The rest, just noise. But what if his family believes it? Harper turned, eyes wide. What if Eleanor reads it and thinks, aha, I knew it. She's a gold digger. Right then, the door opened. Noah walked in, elegant hurricane mode, but visibly upset. Tie crooked. Hair slightly messy. Expression saying he was 2 seconds away from suing the entire internet. Harper, he said, heading straight for her. Did you see it? I did. I'm going to destroy whoever did this. Literally. My lawyer is all ready. Noah, Harper interrupted, taking his hands. Breathe. They called you a strategy, he practically roared. Like you're a chess piece. You're the most genuine person I know, and they— I know, Harper shouted back. I know, okay? I'm angry too. But we can't just sue random opinions on the internet. Yes, we can. My lawyer said defamation. Noah, Priya interrupted gently. Suing will only make more noise, more headlines, more is it true. You need a different strategy. Like what? Noah asked, still holding Harper as if she might vanish if he let go. Marcus stood up, excited like he'd just solved a complex equation. You two need to show it's real, not tell, show. Be yourselves in public, let people see. Like, go out? Harper asked. In public? With people? Exactly, Marcus said. There's a charity gala this Friday, your father's foundation event at Noah. You two go. Together, happy, in love, let people see what's real. Noah looked at Harper. Do you want to do this? Harper thought, about the headlines, the comments, about Claire smiling somewhere, thinking she'd won. And she felt something harden inside her. Determination. I want to, she said firmly. I want to go. And I want to wear a dress so beautiful that those people will choke on their own prejudice. Priya clapped. That's my girl. But, Harper continued, looking at Noah, I need help. A lot of help. Because I can't walk in heels without looking like a baby giraffe learning to stand. Noah smiled. We'll handle it. 3 days later, Harper was in Priya's apartment having a full-blown fashion crisis. I can't wear this, she yelled, staring at the dress Priya had chosen. There's too much fabric. I'm going to trip and die. You're not going to die, Priya said, adjusting the dress. You're going to look like a goddess. Now be quiet and let me finish your hair. Marcus was sitting on the couch, eating popcorn, watching like it was a reality show. This is better than Netflix, he said. You're not helping. Harper shouted, I brought popcorn. That's emotional support. 2 hours later, 2 hours of makeup, hair, and Priya yelling, stop touching your face. Harper looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the woman staring back. The dress was deep blue, midnight sky kind of blue. Simple, elegant, nothing flashy but absolutely breathtaking. Hair loose in soft waves, the result of Priya's straightener and superhuman patience. Makeup subtle but striking. I look, Harper whispered. Like yourself, Priya finished, smiling. Just the gala version. Marcus wiped a tear. You look amazing. Like Noah's gonna have a heart attack. Not helping, Harper muttered, but she was smiling. When Noah arrived to pick her up, he stopped at the door, breathless, like he had forgotten how to function. You? He started, then stopped. He stopped again. Words aren't working. Harper laughed nervously. Is that good or bad? Noah stepped in, took her hands, and looked at her like she was a masterpiece. You're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Harper felt her eyes burn. Don't cry. Priya shouted. You'll ruin the makeup. I won't cry, Harper promised, fanning her face. I just have something in my eye. Like emotion. In the car, on the way to the gala, Harper held Noah's hand like it was an anchor. What if I trip? She whispered. I'll catch you. What if I say something stupid? I'll laugh and make it look intentional. And what if they still think I'm not good enough? Noah stopped the car, turned to her. Then they're wrong, and eventually they'll see that. He kissed her hand. You're more than enough, Harper. You're everything. Harper took a deep breath. Okay, let's do this. But when they arrived at the event, stepping out of the car, camera flashes exploded like fireworks, and Harper saw her, across the red carpet. Clare Montgomery, red dress, perfect smile, looking straight at her and whispering something to the woman beside her. Noah Blackwell. Harper had 3 seconds to decide. Pretend she didn't see Claire talking to Eleanor, or march over like a gladiator entering the arena. She chose the third option, freeze like a deer in headlights. Are you breathing? Noah whispered, holding her arm. Technically, Harper said, still staring at Claire and Eleanor, laughing. Laughing. Like best friends sharing an inside joke. But internally, I'm having a level 10 meltdown. Want to leave? And let her win? Harper turned to him, eyes wide. Noah, she's standing there dressed like a Bond villain, talking to your mother, probably saying I'm some kind of, Russian spy pretending to be your girlfriend. That's a very specific reference for someone panicking. I watch too much TV when I'm nervous. Noah held her face in both hands. Breathe. We'll go in. You'll look beautiful and amazing like you already do, and we'll ignore her completely. Ignore. Harper repeated, like she was learning a new word. As in, pretend she doesn't exist? Exactly. Does that work? Never tried. But we'll find out together. Harper took a deep breath, the kind a diver takes before going down to the Titanic, and nodded. Okay, let's go. But if I trip and fall flat on my face, you pretend you don't know me. Never. They entered the ballroom, which looked like it had been decorated by someone with a small country's budget. Crystal chandeliers, flowers that probably cost more than rent, and people. Lots of elegant people who looked straight out of a fashion magazine. I don't belong here. Harper whispered. You belong wherever I am, Noah said, and Harper felt something melt inside her. But it lasted 3 seconds, because Eleanor appeared, with Claire, together. Noah, Harper, Eleanor said, smiling like the perfect hostess. I'm so glad you're here. You know Clare Montgomery, don't you? Harper looked at Clare. Claire looked back, and smiled, like a cat that just trapped a mouse. Of course, Claire said, extending her hand to Harper. Congratulations on the engagement. What a lovely surprise. Surprise. Code for, I don't believe this is real. Harper shook her hand, trying not to squeeze too hard like she was in an arm wrestling match. Thank you. It's all very real. I'm sure, Claire replied, releasing her hand. Eleanor was just telling me about the wedding plans. Sounds like it'll be a small event? Intimate? We're still deciding. Noah interrupted, polite but sharp like a velvet-covered blade. Of course, Claire said, taking a champagne glass from a passing tray. I always imagined that when you got married, Noah, it would be the event of the year. But intimate is charming too. Intimate. Code for, too poor for a big party. Harper felt anger bubble up like a pressure cooker about to explode. Actually, she said, smiling sweetly, the kind of sweet that hides poison. We want to focus on what really matters, like love, commitment, things that don't need spotlights to be real. Claire blinked. Eleanor hid a small smile behind her glass. How? Profound, Claire replied, and Harper couldn't tell if she was being sincere or sarcastic. Claire just opened a new company, Eleanor explained, clearly doing her a favor by mentioning it. A direct competitor to Noah's, actually. Brave, isn't it? Brave, Noah repeated flatly. That's one word for it. I learned from the best, Claire said, looking straight at him. You taught me everything about strategy. The way she said strategy made Harper want to throw her champagne in Claire's face. But before she could do something that would end up in tomorrow's headlines, Richard appeared, like a superhero in a suit. Harper. He hugged her like a giant friendly bear. You look stunning. Noah, you are unbelievably lucky. I know, Noah said, relaxing for the first time. Eleanor, have you seen her dress? Richard went on, like an excited fashion commentator. Elegant but not flashy. Perfect. Eleanor smiled, a small smile but real. You do look beautiful, she admitted. Claire took a long sip of champagne. Well, Richard announced, shall we mingle? There are so many people who want to meet the new member of the family. He guided Harper away like he was rescuing her from drowning, and Noah followed, leaving Eleanor and Claire behind. Once they were far enough, Harper exhaled. That was horrible. You were amazing, Noah said. I almost threw champagne at her. But you didn't. That's called growth. Richard laughed, way too loud for such an elegant event, making 3 people turn around. I love you, Harper. Officially, you've got guts. Or stupidity, Harper muttered. Same thing when it comes to love, Richard said, winking. They mingled. Richard introduced Harper to about 50 people. All elegant, all polite, all evaluating her like she was auditioning for a role. But Harper smiled, made jokes, laughed at things that weren't funny, and held Noah's hand like it was her anchor. Until, in the middle of a dull conversation about investments she didn't understand, she saw it. Across the room, Claire, talking to a young woman holding a phone, a journalist. It had to be, and Claire was pointing, subtly, in Harper's direction. Excuse me, Harper whispered to Noah. Restroom. Want me to come with you? No need, I'll be right back. She crossed the room, her heart pounding like she was running a marathon, and as she passed close to Claire and the journalist, she slowed down. And she heard it. Of course it's cute, Claire was saying, voice low but clear. But 5 months? And she works for him? Don't you think that's convenient? The journalist was jotting notes. Sources confirm she comes from a very different background. Very different, Claire agreed, pretending to sound concerned. I just hope he knows what he's doing, because his world isn't easy, and not everyone can handle the pressure. Harper stopped walking, turned, And before her brain could say, "Don't do it," she was marching straight toward Claire. "Excuse me," she said, sweet as poisoned sugar. I couldn't help but overhear. Claire turned, eyes wide like she'd just been caught stealing. "Harper, I was just talking about me. I heard." Harper smiled. "And you know what, Claire? You're right. Noah's world is tough, really tough, especially with people like you trying to sabotage him at every turn." The journalist looked between them like she was watching the final round of a tennis match. "I don't know what you're—" "You know exactly what I'm talking about," Harper interrupted, voice still low but steady. "You planted that story, you called me, and now you're here, trying to plant more doubt." She stepped closer. "But you know what? It won't work. Because I love him. Truly. Not for money, not for status, for him. And if you can't understand that, then I actually feel sorry for you." Silence. Claire looked at Harper like she was recalculating an equation. Then she smiled. Small. Cold. "You've got courage. Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a fiancé waiting." Harper turned and walked away, hands trembling but head held high. When she reached the restroom, she locked the door and leaned against the wall. "I did it," she whispered. "I really did it." And she started laughing, that nervous kind of laugh mixed with relief, until she heard it. A stall door opening, and Eleanor stepped out. Eleanor had heard everything. Harper froze like a statue. "Mrs. Blackwell," Eleanor raised a hand, silencing her. She walked to the sink, washed her hands, dried them with a towel that probably cost more than Harper's outfit. And then she turned and smiled, a real smile. "Welcome to the family, Harper," officially this time. And she walked out, leaving Harper alone, trying to process what had just happened. But outside, Claire was typing a furious message. Plan B, now. Harper had about 3 seconds to process the fact that Eleanor Blackwell, the Eleanor Blackwell, had just given her official blessing to their relationship in the bathroom of a charity gala. Of all the possible places for a hallmark moment, it had to be between a marble sink and an automatic soap dispenser. "I need a minute," Harper whispered to the mirror after Eleanor left, gripping the sink like it was an anchor. "Like, a full 60 seconds for my brain to process that this really happened." The universe answered with a knock on the door. "Occupied," Harper shouted. "Harper?" Priya's voice. "Are you okay? You disappeared for like 15 minutes and Noah's about to call a search team." Harper opened the door, pulled Priya inside and locked it again. "I confronted Claire," she blurted out like verbal vomit. Like, actually confronted her. In front of a journalist. I said everything I'd been holding in and— "You did what?" Priya grabbed her shoulders. "Harper Ellis, you confronted the corporate villain? In public? And there's more," Harper continued, pacing in tiny circles because the bathroom was too small for a proper existential crisis. Eleanor heard everything. She was in the stall, hiding. Or not hiding, maybe just doing normal human things, but the point is, she heard it. Priya processed for 3 seconds. "And did she kill you? Like metaphorically?" "She gave me her blessing," Harper nearly screamed. "She said, 'Welcome to the family,' and walked out. Like, mic drop and gone." Priya covered her mouth. Then she started jumping. In the bathroom. In heels. "You did it. You won the mother-in-law. I don't even know how that happened. Because you were you." Priya cupped her face. Authentic. Brave. Like a lioness defending her territory. More like a scared kitten that's scratched by survival instinct. Same energy. When they returned to the ballroom, Harper composed and Priya buzzing like a sports agent whose client just won a championship, Noah appeared, moving straight toward her like a guided missile. "You disappeared," he said, scanning her as if checking for injuries. "I was about 2 minutes away from sending Marcus to storm the ladies' room." "I was processing." "Processing what?" Harper looked around. Claire was gone. Eleanor was talking with a group of elegant women. Richard was laughing too loudly a few feet away. "Your mother gave me her blessing," Harper whispered. "In the bathroom, after I confronted Claire like an action movie heroine." Noah blinked, once, slowly. "You confronted Claire?" Verbally, with sharp words, it was very dramatic. "And my mother?" "Heard everything and approved, apparently." Noah pulled her into a hug so tight she could barely breathe. "You're amazing," he whispered into her hair. "Like superhero-level amazing." "I've been shaking ever since. Adrenaline tremors. Totally normal after an epic showdown." Richard appeared holding 2 glasses of champagne. Okay, what did I miss? Because Eleanor's smiling like a cat that caught a mouse, and Claire just left looking like she lost a major bet. Harper confronted Claire, Noah explained, sounding proud like a dad at his daughter's dance recital. You did what? Richard nearly dropped the glasses. You actually confronted her? With words and everything? A lot of words, Harper confirmed. Possibly too many. I think I released 3 months of frustration in 90 seconds. Richard handed them the glasses and hugged Harper like a giant bear. You are officially my favorite daughter-in-law. I'm the only one. Exactly, so you've already won. At that moment, the master of ceremonies, a man in his 60s with a voice meant for movie trailers, stepped onto the small stage. Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes we'll have the speech from our honoree of the evening. But first, we'd like to invite some of our special supporters to share a few words about the Foundation's work. Richard nudged Noah. Are you going up? I didn't prepare anything. I will, Harper said suddenly, because apparently the adrenaline from confronting Claire had completely shut off her self-preservation filter. Everyone turned to her. You want to give a speech? Noah asked carefully. In public? With a microphone? I already confronted a corporate villain today, Harper declared, grabbing her champagne and finishing it in one gulp. A speech is nothing. You drank that way too fast, Priya noted. I know, and it's working. Before anyone could stop her, Harper was already marching toward the stage like a soldier heading into battle. The master of ceremonies looked at her, confused. Would you like to speak? Yes, about things, important things. He handed her the microphone like someone passing a live grenade. Harper looked out at the ballroom, at the lights, at all the elegant people, at Noah, who looked pale like he'd seen a ghost. And then she opened her mouth. Hi, she said, and her voice echoed like thunder. Sorry. The microphone's sensitive, kind of like me after an emotional confrontation. Some people laughed. I'm Harper, she continued, holding the microphone with both hands like she was doing karaoke. And I shouldn't be here. Silence. I mean, not in a bad way, she quickly corrected. More like, I don't come from this world of galas and dresses that cost more than a car, and champagne with French names I can't pronounce. Noah covered his face with one hand. Richard was glowing. But I'm here, Harper went on, gaining confidence like a video game character collecting power-ups. Because the most incredible man I know brought me, and because this foundation actually makes a difference. Not just pretty pictures for Instagram. A real difference in real lives. Eleanor was watching, expressionless, like a sphinx analyzing a riddle. And I know you're all looking at me thinking, who is this girl? Harper admitted, because I'm thinking the exact same thing, literally. But you know what I learned today? A dramatic pause. That courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about doing something even when you are afraid. It's about standing up for what you believe in. It's about showing up, even when you don't feel ready. She looked at Noah. And it's about letting the right people teach you that you deserve to be in the room. Noah had tears in his eyes. Tears. So, thank you, Harper finished, for letting this girl from Oakland who eats cold pizza for breakfast be part of this, even if just for one night. She handed the microphone back, and the ballroom erupted in applause. Like a standing ovation. A standing ovation. Harper stepped off the stage in shock, like she had just woken up from a lucid dream. Noah met her at the bottom of the steps and kissed her, right there, in front of everyone. You were amazing, he whispered. I'm shaking. You were perfect. Richard appeared crying, actually crying, with a tear rolling down his face. I recorded everything, he sobbed, holding up his phone. This is going in the family album. Eleanor approached, slowly, like a queen crossing a ballroom. She stopped in front of Harper and smiled. Welcome to the family, she said again. But this time, she hugged Harper. A real hug, not the polite kind rich people give. Harper felt something break inside her, like a dam holding back months of tension. And she cried, on Noah Blackwell's shoulder, in the middle of a charity gala. Thank you, she whispered. No, Eleanor replied, pulling back to look into her eyes. Thank you for reminding my son what truly matters. Across the room, hidden behind a column, Claire watched everything through her phone. And smiled. Not a smile of defeat. A smile of someone who was just getting started. She typed a quick message. Phase 3. Destroy her credibility. Personally. And disappeared into the night. Harper had survived a public confrontation with Clare, an improvised speech at a gala, and an emotional hug from Noah Blackwell, all within 3 hours. So when she woke up the next morning to a message from Eleanor saying, "Tea today, 3 p.m., just us two," she reacted completely rationally. She screamed into her pillow for 45 seconds. She said on the phone, voice muffled because her face was still buried in the pillow, she wants tea. Again, just us two. Is that good or bad? Considering she hugged you in public yesterday and said, "Welcome to the family." Priya paused dramatically. It might be the final test, like the boss level in a video game. "I don't want to fight a boss," Harper shouted, rolling onto her back. "I want her to adopt me like a cute puppy." That's not how mothers-in-law work. It should be. Marcus joined the call because apparently they had become some kind of anti-crisis command center, chewing something crunchy. "Okay, strategic analysis," he announced like a general planning an invasion. "Eleanor tested you at the formal dinner. You passed. Tested you at the previous tea. You passed with notes. Yesterday you gave a public speech defending the family. This is the final round. The test for what?" Harper whined. "To see if you can handle pressure when no one's watching, when it's just the two of you. No Noah to save you. No audience to applaud." Harper felt nauseous. "I'm going to fail and become an urban legend. The daughter-in-law who didn't pass the test." Or, Priya said, hopeful, "You'll nail it and become the favorite daughter-in-law in daughter-in-law history." "I'm the only daughter-in-law." "Exactly, so you've already won by default." At 2:47 p.m., because Harper had spent 40 minutes picking an outfit that said sophisticated but approachable and ended up looking like a kindergarten teacher going to a parent meeting, she rang the bell at the Blackwell mansion. James opened the door with his usual discreet smile. "Miss Ellis, Mrs. Blackwell is waiting for you in the garden." Garden. Not an indoor one filled with expensive plants. A real garden, with grass, flowers, and a wooden bench that looked straight out of a Jane Austen movie. Eleanor sat at a small iron table, wearing a beige linen outfit that probably cost more than college tuition, yet somehow looked casual. "Harper," she waved, smiling, the kind of smile that actually reached her eyes. "Sit down, dear." Harper sat, clutching her purse like a shield. "Thank you for the invitation, Mrs. Blackwell." "Eleanor," she interrupted gently, "please, you're going to be my daughter-in-law. Mrs. Blackwell makes me feel 100 years old." Harper laughed, nervous but genuine. "Okay, Eleanor, thank you. Eleanor." Eleanor poured tea. And this time, Harper noticed there were 3 kinds of cookies. Not fancy French ones with names she couldn't pronounce. Regular ones, like chocolate chip. "Do you like chocolate chip?" Eleanor asked, pushing the plate toward her. "I love chocolate chip. It's basically my religion." Eleanor laughed, a small, real laugh. "Mine too, but don't tell the chef. He gets offended when I prefer simple cookies over his fancy creations." Harper took one, bit into it, and almost cried. "These are homemade?" "I baked them last night," Eleanor admitted, looking a little embarrassed. "When I'm nervous, I bake." Harper paused mid-bite. "You were nervous? About today?" "Yes." Eleanor took a sip of tea. "I'm not good with emotions, or deep conversations, or admitting when I'm wrong." "You're not wrong," Harper said too quickly. "Harper, I judged you before I ever met you." Eleanor set the teacup down and looked her straight in the eyes. "I saw executive assistant from Oakland and assumed things, awful, prejudiced things." Harper didn't know what to say. "I get it. I judged you too. I thought you were like an ice queen without a heart." Eleanor laughed so loudly she startled a bird nearby. "Ice queen?" she repeated, wiping a tear. "Richard calls me executive mode Elsa." "That's surprisingly accurate." They laughed, together, like 2 normal people having a normal conversation. "Can I tell you a secret?" Eleanor asked once they calmed down. "Please do." "When I met Richard, I was a waitress," she shaking another cookie. "At a diner, in San Jose. I spilled coffee on him, twice, in the same week." Harper nearly choked. "You a waitress?" "I wasn't born into this world, Harper. I became part of it, and it was hard." Eleanor looked out toward the garden. "His family judged me, tested me, made me feel like I'd never be enough. I spent years trying to prove I belonged." "You did." "Yes, but I lost pieces of myself along the way." She looked back at Harper. "And when I saw you with Noah, so genuine, so you, I felt envy and fear. Fear of what? Of you achieving what I never could, being accepted just as you are. Eleanor reached across the table and took Harper's hand. And yesterday, when you stood on that stage and spoke from your heart, I realized something. You don't need to change, you just need to stay yourself. And my son loves you exactly for that. Harper felt tears roll down her cheeks. I'm so afraid of not being enough, she whispered. Sweetheart, Eleanor said, squeezing her hand. You're already more than enough. You brought my son back to life. Before you, he was functional, successful, but not happy. And now, he laughs. He tells bad jokes. He eats cold pizza for breakfast. Harper let out a teary laugh. I corrupted him. You saved him, Eleanor corrected. And any mother who loves her son should be grateful for that. So you approve? Really? Eleanor stood, pulled Harper up, and hugged her. A real hug, like a mother hugging her daughter. I don't just approve, she whispered. If I could choose a daughter-in-law, it would be you. Harper broke down on her shoulder like a dam bursting. Thank you, she managed between sobs. Really, thank you. When they pulled apart, Eleanor wiped her own tears and laughed. Look at us, a couple of emotional raccoons. Elegant raccoons, Harper corrected. Of course, always elegant. They sat back down, eating cookies and chatting about silly things. Netflix, cake recipes, and that one time Eleanor accidentally donated Richard's expensive clothes to charity. He found out? Harper asked, laughing. 3 months later, when he saw a homeless man wearing a $1,000 shirt. Eleanor laughed. He was so confused. Did you tell him? Eventually, after a lot of laughing, Harper felt something warm in her chest. This was family. Not perfect, not without flaws, but real. As she was leaving, Eleanor held her arm. Harper? Yes? About the wedding. Eleanor paused. I know you two want something small, intimate, and I respect that. But if you need help with anything, I'm here. Harper smiled. Thank you. I'll probably need it. A lot. Because I have no idea what the difference is between tulle and organza, and apparently that's important. Eleanor laughed. We'll learn together. Harper floated all the way to the car, literally, her feet barely touched the ground, and immediately called Noah. I passed the test, she yelled before he could even say hello. What test? The final test with your mom. She told me she used to be a waitress, and she baked cookies, and she hugged me, a real hug. Noah laughed, that warm laugh that made her stomach melt. I told you she'd love you. You didn't say any of that. You said, she'll need time. I was being cautious. Well, time's up. Your mom loves me now, and I'm going to tell everyone who doubted it. Including yourself? Harper paused. Maybe. I love you, Noah said simply. I love you too. Now come home because I need to tell you everything in dramatic detail with exaggerated gestures. But while Harper drove home, singing along to a cheesy song on the radio like she'd just won the lottery, Claire was at a cafe 3 blocks away, meeting with a man in a gray suit. A private investigator. So? She asked coolly. Did you find anything? He slid an envelope across the table. I did, and it's interesting. Claire opened it and smiled, like a wolf spotting a lost sheep. Perfect. Now let's see if her fairy tale survives the truth. Harper was having the best dream ever. You know, the one where you're flying and eating endless pizza. When her phone rang at 6:47 a.m. to the Star Wars theme song, she answered without opening her eyes. Did someone die? She mumbled. You're getting married. Priya screamed on the other end, so loud that Harper dropped the phone on her face. Ow. Harper grabbed it back, rubbing her nose. Priya, I know I'm getting married. You called me at 6 in the morning to remind me? No. I called to say we need to pick an official date. Like, right now, because I already started the planning spreadsheet and I need data. Harper sat up, her hair looking like a bird's nest that had survived a hurricane. You made a spreadsheet? With 20 tabs, Priya replied proudly. Color codes, charts, an entire section called Possible Disasters and How to Prevent Them. That's both offensive and comforting. Marcus joined the call, chewing something. She woke you up too? He asked, mouth full. It's 7 in the morning on a Saturday, Harper shouted. You're like a wedding planning cult. An organized cult, Priya corrected. Now get up, shower, and come to our apartment. We're deciding everything today. Including the month? Harper asked, still half asleep. Especially the month. 2 hours later, because Harper needed coffee through an IV to function like a human, she was sitting in Priya's apartment surrounded by wedding magazines, fabric samples, and Marcus wearing fake glasses like he was about to give a TED Talk. "Okay," Marcus announced, pointing at a whiteboard that had magically appeared. "Month options. Spring, romantic, flowers, cliché but it works. Summer, hot, sweaty, but there's the beach. Fall, Pinterest perfect, pumpkins, very aesthetic. Winter, elegant, cold, chance of snow ruining everything." Harper looked at Priya. "Is he okay? He watched 15 wedding shows last night," Priya whispered. "He's possessed." "I heard that," Marcus yelled. "And it's not possession, it's dedication." Okay. Harper raised her hands like she was calming a wild animal. "I think I want fall, like September or October." "October," Marcus practically shouted, circling it on the board with a red marker. "Perfect. Not too hot, not too cold, colorful leaves, golden light, everything." "He rehearsed that," Priya confirmed. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Harper frowned. "Did you invite more people to this wedding planning summit?" "No," Priya said, confused, going to open the door. And there was Noah Blackwell, wearing jeans. Jeans. Harper blinked 3 times to make sure she wasn't hallucinating. "Mrs. Black," Harper corrected herself, standing up too fast and almost tripping over the pile of magazines. What are you doing here?" Eleanor stepped in, holding a bakery bag. "I brought croissants and an invitation." She set the bag on the table. "Richard wants to host an official engagement dinner next week. Family, close friends, nothing too formal." "Nothing too formal" in Blackwell language means? Harper asked cautiously. 50 people. Maximum. Eleanor smiled. "And you can wear whatever you want. Even jeans that if you prefer." "Is this a test?" Harper asked. "Like if I show up in jeans, will you secretly judge me?" Eleanor laughed. An honest, real laugh. "Harper dear, I'm wearing jeans right now. The time for judgment is over." Marcus wiped away a tear. "That's so beautiful, I need to sit down." "You're already sitting," Priya pointed out. "Bet I need to sit even more." Eleanor looked around at the whiteboard, the fabrics, the magazines. "Are you planning?" "Trying," Harper admitted. "So far, we've decided October." "That's it. October is perfect," Eleanor said, taking a croissant. "May I help?" Harper felt something warm in her chest. "Really? Really?" Eleanor sat on the couch like a normal person. "I planned my own wedding, and it was stressful, so I know exactly what not to do." "That's like reverse consulting," Marcus noted. "Brilliant." They spent the next 3 hours laughing, eating croissants, and listening to Eleanor tell stories of wedding disasters that made Harper feel much better about her own planning skills. "Wait," Harper said, laughing so hard she had tears on her face. "You forgot the bouquet? Left it in the car," Eleanor admitted, covering her face. "Richard had to run back to the parking lot while the wedding march played on a loop." "How long?" Priya asked, fascinated. 3 minutes. That felt like 3 hours. Eleanor laughed. The guests started singing along with the music to fill the silence. Marcus was recording everything. "This is going in the family album," he announced. When Eleanor left, promising to return with decorating ideas that won't break the bank, Harper sank into the couch like she'd just run a marathon. "Did that really happen?" she asked. "Like, my mother-in-law just spent the morning with me eating croissants and laughing about disasters?" "It happened," Priya confirmed, smiling. "You hit the jackpot of mothers-in-law, my friend." Harper's phone rang. "Noah," she answered, smiling like a lovesick fool. "Hi, fiancé." He sounded tired but happy. "Are you free tonight?" "Depends. Does it involve a social ambush?" "No. Just me, you, and a surprise." "I hate surprises. You'll like this one." At 7 that evening, Harper was in her apartment trying to decide between casual but cute and effortlessly put together but pretending not to be, when Noah rang the doorbell. She opened the door in a sweatshirt. "I gave up," she announced. "Do you still love me like this?" Noah pulled her into a kiss that made her toes curl. "Especially like this," he whispered. "Okay, that was a good answer. Did you practice?" "No." He smiled that smile. "But I brought this." He showed her a small box, not a ring box, a key box. "Noah." Harper took it, confused. "Is this a key to my apartment?" He slipped his hands into his pockets, looking nervous. "I know we're getting married in October, and I know technically we could wait until then, but I don't want to. I want to wake up with you every day. I want to trip over your stuff around the house. I want you. Always." Harper felt her eyes sting. "You're asking me to move in with you?" "I'm begging you to move in with me. That's kind of a big step." "I know. What if I'm terrible to live with? Like, I leave clothes on the floor, dishes in the sink, and I eat cereal straight from the box at 3 in the morning. Noah pulled her closer. Then I'll buy more cereal. Harper let out an ugly, real sob. That's not fair. You can't say perfect things when I'm in a sweatshirt with a tomato sauce stain. You have a sauce stain? That's not the point, Noah laughed, kissing her forehead. Is that a yes? It's a very obvious yes. Harper shouted, jumping on him like a koala clinging to a tree. Like, yes, yes, yes! He spun her around, actually spun her, movie scene style. And when he set her down, Harper looked at the key in her hand. We're moving in together, she whispered, as if realizing it for the first time. Before the wedding. That's pretty modern of us. Or we just can't wait, that too. They stayed there, wrapped in each other's arms, until Harper suddenly remembered. Wait, I need to tell Priya. She's going to freak out. Like, she'll add 20 new tabs to the wedding spreadsheet. Later, Noah said, kissing her again. Right now, let's just stay here. And they did. But 3 blocks away, Claire slammed her laptop shut hard enough to nearly break it. She had just seen the photos. Noah and Harper, hugging at Harper's apartment door. And the key, the damn key. She picked up the envelope the detective had delivered, opened it, read, and smiled, like a wolf spotting a lost sheep. Let's see if the fairy tale survives once her past comes to light. She dialed a familiar number. We need to meet. Tomorrow. I have a gift for you. On the other end, a woman's voice answered. What kind of gift? Claire looked at the photo inside the envelope. Harper, younger, with a man who was definitely not Noah. And a document that changed everything. The kind that destroys families, Claire said, and hung up. And so our story comes to an end, for now. Harper and Noah continue walking side by side, proving that love can bloom in the most unexpected places, even among codes, meetings, and cautious glances. She won his heart, and now begins the most delicate challenge of all. Being accepted in his world, without losing who she is. But if there's one thing we've learned from this story, it's that the heart always finds its own way. And sometimes the greatest revolution is simply to love in the truest way possible. Now tell me, what did you think about this new chapter in the life of our secretary who dared to challenge the CEO's world? I'd love to hear your thoughts. On a scale from 0 to 10, what rating would you give this story? Leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss more touching stories like this one, full of love and emotion. Thank you for being here with us. See you in the next story.